good morning, or afternoon, depending on the time you're watching this video. I am Antonia Reyes.
And I am Valentina Yarse.
We are going to show you how to analyze two different types of text.
The main objective of this tutorial is to identify different text types, scaffolding, grammatical features, progression patterns, and other essential elements. The first text is a biography of the English singer Dua Lipa, published on the website last.fm by the author Kelly Acey on 2022. According to its structure and grammatical features, we could say that this is a descriptive text. Its function is to give information about a place, person, or object. Now let's see the descriptive scaffolding. As we can see, the structure of this text type begins with a general opening statement. This statement can be easily identified. It includes a brief definition or description about Dua Lipa. Then we can read a group of paragraphs that provides more information about the subject of the text. Most of these paragraphs have a topic sentence that gives us an anticipation of what the paragraph will be about. Then, in order to analyze the text, we have to identify some grammatical features present in it. For example, in the case of descriptive text, the grammatical features are use of adjectives, non-complementation, attributes or facts, and the simple present tense. The most frequent grammatical features that appear in this text is the use of linking verbs, as we can see here, the use of facts, and finally the use of adjectives.
In text, we can find recurrent rules, which occur when an element is repeated several times in order to maintain cohesion and coherence. In our text, we can identify some of them, such as the way they mention the artist in different parts of the text. This corresponds to repetition, which happens when an element reappears in the same form in different places in the text. Another reference rule that we can appreciate is the anaphoric reference. As we can see, one unit is being used to name another one that has been already mentioned, like the pronoun she referring to Dua Lipa. We can also identify the use of co-reference when the author refers to London as the British capital. As mentioned above, new information is always added throughout the text, and the progression rules refers to this. In this way, we find sentences that repeat some information about the theme, which can be associated with the subject, but also new information is added, which is expressed as the rhyme, and can be associated with the predicate. In our example, the most recurrent progression pattern is the constant thematic progression. We can see this in these paragraphs. We can also analyze the connectivity rules present in this text. These rules are made to indicate relationships between grammatical components of the text and between pieces of information. In the text, we can find many combinations of relations related to grammatical features, but the most recurrent are subject-verb agreement and adverb plus adjective. As for the relationship between pieces of information, we can find implicit connection such as commas and the explicit such as the constant use of connectors. The second text we are going to analyze is a guide on how to use chopsticks, published in 2022 by the useful page called GDHub. In this case, the type of text is a lot easier to identify. Since the objective is to give us instructions on how to do something, we can conclude that this is an instructive text. The instructive scaffolding basically consists on first, a statement indicating the aim of the text. In the case of our analyzed text, this corresponds to the title, which is indicating what is the tutorial about. Then, we may find a list of materials needed for the procedure. This element may be omitted in some cases. Finally, the structure of this text has a list of the procedures to follow. These steps are normally in numerical order, and for this purpose, sequencers are used. And the steps normally start with commands, such as hold, allow, tap, and place, among others. There are some grammatical features that are characteristic of this text type, such as the use of imperatives to command an action to the receptor, adverbs to describe how the action has to be performed, technical language depending on the context of the text, the use of adverbial clauses, and others. The most relevant ones that appeared in this guide of how to use chopsticks are the use of imperatives, as we can see in the beginning of each sentence, the use of adverbs, like we can appreciate in these examples, and the use of technical language, such as the names of each part of the finger or the action of grab.
As my classmate Antonia said before, there are some recurrent rules that appear in the text in order to create coherence and cohesion. In this text, it appears repetition, in this case of the word chopstick. It also appeared anaphoric reference, that is when a reference unit which refers to another unit that was introduced earlier in the text to reduce repetition. In this example, we saw the determiner "this" to refer to the chopstick. Finally, we found coreference for the use of the linguistics expression "sticks" to refer to the word chopsticks. The most frequent thematic progression pattern that we found in this text is the constant thematic progression, because almost in the whole text it refers to the same theme, in this case the chopsticks, and then there's only new information, so in other words, new rhymes. The most frequent relation rules that we saw in this text are noun plus preposition, as we can see here. Another relation rule is verb plus prepositional object, as we can see here and here. Finally, we are going to analyze the different type of connection rules that appear in this text. First of all, it appears explicit connection. In this case, the phrase "while doing this" is an adverb connection. On the other hand, we have implicit connection here when we only have a period in order to still talking about the same topic.
We hope you liked this video and see you next time.